Hi everybody, it's Donna over here at Purple Pinky Promises, and I have a shimmery glimmery project with a belly band to share with you today. And we're starting things off with the Wildflower stencil from Dare to Be Artsy. And I'm just making a rundown on all of the products, or some of the products that we're using here. We have the Gansai Tambi Opal colors, gorgeous shimmery goodness, which is actually a little mystical surprise in the end. We have the delicious decorations from Spellbinders, and I'm showing you the dies that I use from that set. We have an Altenew die that is wonderfully made. Then I have my Taklon fan brush. We have these Shimmer Spritz from Imagine Crafts, and Spellbinders pop-up die cutting foam sheets. We're going to start off with this stencil here, and I'm just sizing it up, trying to decide how much, which direction I'm going to get more from my opal colors when I paint them. Now these are water-based pigment paints, and they are activated with water. So you can spray it into the pan, and I'm showing you there which colors I'm actually using. I'm actually starting out with the opal pink, and I will move to opal green and opal blue and opal violet. So you can spray, oh, we're getting up and close and personal here. So you can spray the water into your pan directly, or you can just spray it on your mat that you're working on and kind of dip your brush into that and try to go for a little less water. I did notice something while I was creating this project, that there were places where it might have been easier to use a thinner brush rather than a wide brush. But all in all, I was pretty happy with this. I will tell you, after I'm done with this, I kind of show you that I show you with a can of Pixie Spray, and I'm trying to indicate to you that if you are looking for perfection in this type of project, you probably ought to spray your stencil with Pixie Spray so that it adheres to your cardstock and all of this doesn't kind of ooze underneath. And you'll see what I mean. This project kind of has, there's a little bit of symbolism behind it. I chose this mostly because I love this sentiment, "You are wonderfully made." And you'll see here I'm grabbing the opal blue. I do want to talk to you about a little bit about the whole inspiration behind all of this that I'm doing here. I wanted to do something that was symbolic of how perfection is such a trap, especially for crafters. And I know it really is for women too. And we have body image issues that, this social media and Hollywood and all of that influences us, and we get a mindset that's just not so great about ourselves. Well, we kind of get into that little trap into crafting too. And I love this sentiment that you are wonderfully made. It just kind of reminds me to celebrate the unique beauty of who I'm created to be. And, oftentimes what we perceive as a mistake is just really an opportunity to enhance the project when we're crafting. It really does push us to do better. And so that was really the inspiration behind using this die and doing this project. And so I did notice that if my brush was a little too wet, it did kind of seep underneath the stencil. But once I was done, I kind of was really pleasantly surprised with, like what I said, the unique look that I got. It was very artsy looking. And I wasn't bothered by the fact that it wasn't clean and simple. So here I am showing you the Pixie Spray, that if you don't want any of that spreading out underneath like I got here, you should use the Pixie Spray. But what I do want to say is, and I am using the heat tool here to kind of get that wet off of my cardstock. So, And I'm going to use the same process with my sentiment. And I did get a little too much water and on this one, but really, honestly, it's kind of a process that you have to use when you're working with this to figure out, how much water you need. You just kind of have to play around with it. You may have to like sop up your water, because if you don't have enough water, you really can't get any on your brush and you can't really spread it on. So it really is kind of a little bit of a science. You just kind of have to play around with these paints. But they're awesome and they're amazing, and they just like magic show up on black cardstock. I just think it's so awesome that it's a surprise. And sometimes it's almost like the mistakes we make in crafting. It ends up being a wonderful surprise in the end, because it does really, like I said, it pushes us to make something better of what we've done. So when you're playing, if you do happen to play around with these paints, have fun with it. Enjoy the process. Okay, so now I've got the shimmer spray going, and I have shimmer sprayed my base, my card base, and I have actually shimmer sprayed my belly band as well. And I'm going to use this time to kind of tell you the measurements on that belly band, and I will post everything in the link in the description below on YouTube and up above on Facebook. So the belly band measures 1 3/4 inch by 11 inches, and it is scored at 2 5/8 and 8 3/8. And then once again, I scored it at 2. So let me back up. I scored it at 2 5/8 and 2 3/4, 8 1/4 and 8 3/8. So, and then I had a little connector that I had to create to put on there. It is 1 3/4 by 2 1/2, because it wasn't going to be long enough to go around. All right, so as you can see here, I've got this pop-up die cutting foam sheet. It is from Spellbinders, and they have some black pop-up foam. And I am using my negative space to hold my foam so that it doesn't flop everywhere when I'm trying to adhere the front of it, my cardstock, to it. And you'll see that it just makes a nice little placeholder for me to get that sentiment on there. And now we've got some dimension. So instead of using white foam, we've got some black foam that can actually kind of act so that way you don't see if you're a little bit off. It's kind of nice. All right, now I'm adding some glue in, because it was wet. I really got to make sure that I get the glue right close to those edges as well as the middle. So I'm popping that up here, and we're going to set a block on that to keep it down so that it straightens and it doesn't warp. Now I'm going to tell you something. I think I colored these leaves, I think, at least 3 times. I started out with a color that I ended up changing in the middle of this process. It was too bright, and then I went to this mint color, and you'll see that I eventually change it as well, even after adhering it to the project. So I am essentially, what I'm doing right now is just kind of fiddling with this to figure out where I want everything to go. And I'm putting my flower here together. I will tell you that because I ended up using those crystals, those Prima marketing crystals, really was kind of not really a point in using those middle centerpieces. So that's just a heads up there. Okay. So here we are. I love belly bands. They just kind of add an extra little element to your card. It's a nice little surprise that it slides off, and it's just an interesting interactive way to do your card. Okay. Yeah. And I'm putting a block on that as well. And because we've got this video sped up, it doesn't seem like it was on there very long, but it was. Okay. So So now I'm using these foam dimensions here. That is, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember where those are from. I'll have it listed in the description below. And now I'm adding, you can see the shimmer there on that belly band. I just wanted everything to shimmer and shine. So I'm only gluing up each end and leaving that space in the middle. And so when I was giving you those measurements, I wanted you to point out the fact that I have scored it in 2 places on either side of that belly band so that there's some room for those crystals to go on. So you can see there, I've left enough room so that it can slide off and on really nicely. Okay, there it is. So next, we're going to get those crystals on there. I just couldn't believe how wonderful these matched up with this project. And all the shimmer and shine in the crystals just absolutely look so beautiful with this pigment paint. So here I am just kind of going through all of these crystals and figuring out where they need to go on my project. And I think, show you the whole, well, not the whole thing, but most of that process. Just trying to go with whatever color the flower is and kind of going with a different color to make it pop and stand out. And here's when I add this to the center of this, and I really like it, and I decide, oh, my leaves are too bright. So I change the color of that leaf, and I go with Misty Morning. And I didn't show you this whole process here because I didn't want to give you a heart attack, but I am lifting up those leaves to go underneath there and get that leaf, or not leaves, petals. I'm lifting up the petals so that I can go underneath there and get that painted. And then I go in with the opal green so that I can get that shimmer again. Since I sprayed it before with that shimmer spray, I thought, well, now I have leaves that aren't shimmery. But then I got the bright idea to go back through there with that paint. And it does. It picks it up really pretty. And I'm lifting up these petals to kind of give them a little interest. And then I realize, oh my goodness, I got that marker on my petal. So then I decide, there's no mistakes in crafting. Remember, perfection is a trap. So I roll with it. And I decide to make the best of it. And I actually ended up really liking how that just carried out that center. So I colored around the center of that flower. And I just said, let it be. And in the end, I was very happy with it. It just kind of made that center transition a little better with that gem. And now I'm just showing you what it looks like when you pull off that belly band and you've got all those crystals along with those beautiful florals. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, and there it is. And you're getting one last look at it. I really appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at the project that I created today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and leave a comment for this little small business. Anything you can do helps. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye-bye.